Hey, listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 176. I'm Brando. I'm here with Brian, and we're going to continue the arc of the good vibes for the second part of our Commander 2020 set review. Now hit our theme song! Hey Ryan, we're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What's going down?
Whole tons going down. We're still in the studio recording the episode that everybody heard yesterday. We're going to talk about the rest of the C20 cards, but before we do any of that, we got to thank our official sponsors, face2facegames.com. They're Canada's biggest Magic store.
Very much so, and I am pumped. We were talking before the show that we are legitimately excited both for Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths and Commander 2020, and we don't think it's because we're going through Magic withdrawal. We think that it's because it's actually going to be fun and the cards are cool.
Yeah, there's actual exciting stuff that I'm excited to own, like I said last week, and I'm excited to play with, like we're going to talk about later on. I really like this set. I think it's aimed at people that want to do big, splashy, fun stuff, and there's just lots of tools here that let us do that.
And you know what's actually funny is when you get your deck arsenal honed and tuned to the point that mine is at, where it's like I've got a lot of long time decks that are very tight, the floor is very high for a card to get in. Not necessarily from a power level, but from a what this deck wants a card to do level. And between C20 and Ikoria proper, there is a bunch of random just shit throw out draft commons that I'm excited about, and that's always how it works for my Animar deck. This new thing is just like crappy, and of course Zada plays only terrible cards, and Lord of Tressorhorn plays cards that you literally wouldn't even piss on their head if they were on fire. And I've got a card for Lord of Tressorhorn in Ikoria. Not this product, but Ikoria proper, and I wanted to just say this is what I'm excited about because we've got the full set for both products now.
Yes, these are going to be great. I think that there's fewer cards here than maybe from Theros, but all of the ones that are coming out, I am very pumped for. I'm looking forward to lots of this stuff, which is just, again, like you said, it's a good feeling. And in a time when maybe we're not building and we're not doing as much stuff as maybe we could be with our collections or with our decks, it's going to be cool to get that influx of just really neat stuff and be able to find space for it in your existing decks rather than just build new ones.
Yeah, and like we looked at the legendary creatures from C20 yesterday, and we commented a bunch on new tribes like not new tribes, but the Hydra tribal commander and Bird tribal and Shark tribal, and we talked about cycling, and like there's just a lot of deck space that opens up. So it does kind of feel like Theros, how it opened up a whole bunch of Enchantress things, or in Ixalan it opened up the dinosaur build path. I don't know if C20 is going to do that other than like the cycling deck. The cycling deck kind of already existed, but we do now see, or we're going to see a reprint of Fluctuator, a notable cycling card that like went above $30 when cycling was starting to make a name for itself with C20 and Ikoria before a reprint was introduced. So some cool stuff. Before we get to it though, just a quick shout out. Make sure to check out Commander Cookout on Twitter. That's at CCOPodcast, at CCOBrando. Of course, the Facebook page, facebook.com/CCOPodcast. You can find an opportunity there to guess Commander hints for potential prizes. We're giving out different prizes for each episode during the arc of good vibes that this episode falls into. And while we didn't give a Commander hint for this episode, you can find an opportunity there to win some Ikoria boosters once Brando and I can get back together and do some open flippy videos for YouTube. I think because we usually do, we take a couple of our own personal packs and we can sign them, or we can open them for you if you want and sign the cards or whatever you guys want. We're going to have some special winners, and I like to just randomly pick people from Facebook or our Discord or our Patreon supporters or Twitter, just somewhere where we've had some positive interaction, because we kind of didn't give you a Commander hint. I just want to give something away just to keep the arc and the good vibes rolling. So once we can get YouTube back together, I'm going to announce some winners for the arc on our Ikoria boxing match videos. So no give out today exactly, but it is going to be in the future once we can get back together. What do you think?
I dig it. You know what that makes us? Consistency Cookout Podcast.
Oh, did you plan it? Did you plan it?
I was thinking about it while you were talking. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to hit him with it. I'm going to hit him with the truth.
Oh, hit him with the truth, Brando. We got to get t-shirts.
Oh, that would be a sweet shirt, actually. I like that.
That's sick, yeah. So where do you want to start then?
Well, we have it open. I think we both have the same website open, and we're going to just kind of do like we usually do and just kind of scroll down the page and stop when we see something that's sweet.
Sure. And you know what's actually funny is, like, we've got it open, Wooburg color alphabetical set order, right? Collector number per se. And the Commander product and Ikoria proper both have colorless non-artifact creatures, which is a little bit weird, but I don't know. In the Commander product, we've got Cryptic Trilobite.
Yeah, that's just a strange little thing. I dig it, but it's an XX for a 0/0. Comes to play with X +1/+1 counters on it, and you could remove a +1 to get 2 colorless mana, or you can tap 1 and it to put a counter on it.
Yeah, and it's creature type Trilobite, notable because that's the first one we've ever had.
Ooh.
I don't know if that matters to anybody, but some people are like into that, right? Some people might collect the first printing of a creature type.
Sure.
I saw XX comes into play with X counters, and I was like immediately like my pants were getting tighter as I was reading words on the card, and then I was like, oh, you get colorless. Oh,
yeah. I think that this is the first XX creature that doesn't just immediately snap go into Animar. Hey.
Sort of, yeah.
Because he doesn't help you at all, really.
Exactly. I don't. I only play Walking Ballista because you just make it infinite and then you remove all the counters and kill things. That's how you win.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cryptic Trilobite. It's sure it is what it is, I guess. Yeah. Right.
He's there. He's fine. I like the picture minimally, so there's something going for it.
Yeah, for sure. What about Cartographer's Hawk? This is another white pseudo ramp spell a la land tax, or what's the knight? White knight, Knight of the White Orchid.
Knight of the White Orchid.
So this is Bird of the White Orchid, I guess. Give it a read.
It is a 2/1 flyer for white 1. When it deals combat damage to a player who controls more lands than you, return it to your hand, and then you search your library for a plains, put it into play tapped. It doesn't say basic plains. It's a plains.
Important. I didn't actually realize that. I was doing the math on, okay, if it doesn't have haste, it gets you 1 land maybe every second round of the table. Is this what we want?
I think it's on color. You know what I mean? Like it does what white does. It gets lands into play. It's fine.
It's a relevant creature type. It puts them onto the battlefield tapped. Like tapped or untapped. Like who really cares you're getting a land for doing 2 damage to somebody? It's a relevant creature type. I think that if, like, I don't know, is land tax better?
Yes. Okay. Land tax is 100% better, but this is good. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I think I would play it in a mono white deck or a white X deck that maybe doesn't have as much ramp in it as other decks that I'm going to be seeing at a table. I'll play this card.
All right. Well, you can get your Mistveil Plains with it. It comes into play tapped anyways. You can get the white Plains card from Eldraine. I think that puts a +1 counter on something. You don't have to get plains in your mono white. You can get your shock lands or fetch lands or the cycle lands if you want those onto the battlefield instead of your hand.
Yeah. You can get a shock land and then pay two life for it when it comes into play, and it's still tapped. I learned that that's a thing on Arena.
Hey, man, maybe you're playing black-white and you want your life total to go down.
Yeah, you're playing Death Shadow.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe that's what you're doing in EDH. You're playing Death Shadow. Fuck it, here it is.
This is the worst deck I've ever thought of. Cartographer's Hawk, Death Shadow, EDH. get at us on Twitter?
Let's do it. Why not? It sounds like something we'd do.
That's it. Okay, look at this, though. The next bang, 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 5 cards in a row, though, in white are good, or at least passable. Now they're good. Dismantling Wave. White 2 sorcery, but just let me finish. For each opponent, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Cycling. White 6. When you cycle Dismantling Wave, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Wow.
That's fine.
8 mana, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Draw a card. Sure, probably more often than not, you're going to go white 2, destroy this, destroy this, destroy this.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see it, because you can get that effect, I think even in white, for way fucking less than 8.
Oh, yeah, you can, but it doesn't draw you a card. It doesn't replace itself.
I guess.
Grasp of Fate, also sorcery speed spell, lets you exile 1 thing from each opponent, but it's an enchantment, so it incentivizes players to focus it to get their thing back, because it O-rings their thing, right?
Sure.
This just kills it. You do have an effect sort of similar to this at 4 mana that you could cast at sorcery speed to get 2 things in Return to Dust. Like, I'm just trying to draw comparisons. This is cheaper and it gets 1 extra thing, but it doesn't give you the option to cast it at sorcery speed.
It in no way is a bad card, but it's good, it's solid. I think people should play it and will play it. It's just that cycling for... When I see color 6 to cycle something, I want to see color 6 be red and it says destroy all land on it.
Yeah, that's right. And just you wait, because we've got some stuff that goes along with when you cycle, right? We're going to see some stuff like that, right?
We will.
Next up is a card that's part of a cycle, and they all say, if you control your commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, dude, they did it. They did it. They made free contingent on commander, which I think maybe the CEDH people are going to like these. I think at least some of them are extremely playable and very good. This one, instant, which is important. White 2, but it's free if you control your commander. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn, which sort of reads counter target sweeper spell just for us.
Yeah.
Counter target removal spell.
Yeah.
Or one-sided board wipe. This is like, costs 2 cards, but I can Cyclonic Rift you to your graveyard.
Sure.
By dismantling waving you. Or like Wrath of Godding you, right? Like, this card is good.
It's really, really... part of me doesn't like it because it feels like Theft Protection, and it's such a... like a feel bad almost, where it's like, oh, finally I can get through this army of angels and fucking 1/1 tokens and all this lifelink and crap, and we can finally get on with the game. Nope.
Just kidding.
Yeah, no, you
Just
can't.
kidding. We're going to get on with the game because Wrath of God, all my guys are indestructible.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the next game, and I'm going to win this game.
Yeah, exactly. But that is a sweet card, though. I dig that. It's strong. It's good. I won't play it because it's not my jam.
Yeah, you should, though.
I should, but I won't.
I want to talk about, I just want thoughts on Herald of the Forgotten. Our friend Harold is a 6/6 cat beast for white 6. That's the second time we've seen that. 6/6 flyer for 6. When Herald of the Forgotten enters the battlefield, if you cast it, return any number of target permanent cards with cycling from your graveyard to the battlefield. Base level, I thought, well, it's white ramp because I'll just cycle all my cycling lands. But, oh, fuck, I already have to have 8 mana.
Yeah,
right?
like, why are you throwing lands into the bin if you... yeah, it's... I don't know. I think that it's cool. I like the picture on it lots. But,
I'm just trying to... you know what? I didn't really do the research on what thing with what permanent card with cycling do I want in my graveyard early game to get back for free with this card. I didn't do that research, but it has to exist.
Oh, it definitely exists. I don't know what it is either, but... I mean, it costs 8. If you're gonna pay 8... there's probably better stuff you can do.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Unless you're playing this in... or isn't there an enchantment that gives all your lands cycling?
Yeah, it's in this... I think it's land cards in your hand gain cycling.
Oh, that's terrible then. I almost had it, but then it's
Tectonic Reformation.
Tectonic Reformation. Yeah. Land cards in your hand. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, fuck that. This card sucks.
We've got another cycle, the Impetus cycle, very close to something sounding dirty. I don't know. I don't know, whatever. This is Martial Impetus. They all give a buff to a creature and goad it, and then when an enchanted creature attacks, it gets something, right? And these ones are a little bit of a riff off of the C11 ones that say plus whatever and can't attack you.
Yeah, they're Vow or whatever, right?
Yeah, Vow of whatever. Vow of Duty was the white one from C11 that gave it +2/+2 in Vigilance, or +2+ whatever it was.
Yeah.
They still can't attack us, and now they have to attack because they're goaded, which you could get rid of a blocker. You could use this as removal if you put it on a little guy and it attacks and then somebody else blocks it. These are kind of cool. I think they're going to see play, but I don't know. I just wanted to mention them because there's a cycle and it was a riff off of something else.
I dig this one because it not only does it make this creature not attack you, it also incentivizes you to attack somebody else with their other dudes too, because then their other dudes get bigger.
Oh, whenever enchanted creature attacks, each other creature that's attacking one or more of your opponents gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So it incentivizes them to attack not us with everything. Yeah, that is okay. That one's good.
It's a cool one. I dig it.
Okay, last white card that I want to look at, Verge Rangers. Give them a read.
He has a 3/3 for 3, one of which is white. With first strike, you may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as an opponent controls more lands than you, you may play land cards from the top of your library.
So this is cool in white decks, probably only.
Yes.
Green has this effect, and in decks that want to play extra lands, they're probably going to be playing the green versions that don't limit you to like your opponents having to have more lands than you, right? This is only good until you catch up, right?
Yeah, you're going to play what, like Oracle of Moldiah instead of this if you're playing green?
This does cost less than Oracle Moldiah, but like Azusa Lost But Seeking also exists.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's cool.
This one is cool. You can still look at the top card of your library even if you have the most land or you're tied.
Oh, and if you're playing mono white, you can just be super depressed the whole time. Because it's like, oh, fuck. I think that this is one of those cards that's just cool for the late game when you're out of gas and you're going to top deck a fucking land. It gives you the opportunity to not top deck that land and instead get something else.
Yeah, and you know what? In mono white, it does sort of help you with your utility lands that you do want to sacrifice, right? Like your wastelands, your strip mines, your scavenger grounds. You can just with a little bit more confidence kind of just use those and still have the confidence to look at the top and see that you have a land if you have something in your hand that you needed that strip mine to help you cast, for example.
Yeah.
That's the kind of advantage that white gets. It's not necessarily getting card advantage, but if I can see that my next card is a land, I can dust your land and my land and then play the land from the top of my library and still play my thing, right?
Dig it.
Okay. Blue cards. Anything jumping out in the blue category?
I like that we have a clone anything in Crystalline Resonance. It's an enchantment for blue 2. Whenever you cycle a card, you may have Crystalline Resonance become a copy of another target permanent until your next turn, except it still can do that. So, I mean, yeah, it's a cycling card. You have to play it in the cycling deck, but it is another thing that lets you copy anything, and that's cool.
Yeah, and it's at the 3 mana slot. So if you know what a close analog to this would be like Mirage Mirror, right? Where you have to pay 3 to cast it and then pay 3 to activate its ability. And you can respond to Mirage Mirror's ability by activating it a second time, right? So you can make it change into one thing and then do something with that thing and then change it into the other thing when you resolve the second activation.
What keeps the abilities? You don't have to be all tricksy with it even.
That's right. That's what I mean. With Mirage Mirror, you have to be tricksy. But with Crystalline Resonance, you don't have to be. You can just cycle as the only thing in your hand. And if you draw another cycling card, you can just do it again. Do you put this in a deck that you like in your clone deck or whatever, like do you put this in as a 3-mana clone and just add all the cycling lands that you possibly can? There's a colorless one. There's 2 or 3 in each of the mono colors. So if you're playing like a 2-color deck, you could have as many as 7 cycling lands or 8 cycling lands.
I don't like those odds. I wouldn't. But I think that this card is cool in a deck that's already doing a cycling thing or has lots of cycling stuff in it. But I don't know if I would add it to... This one isn't going in an existing deck. It's going into the cycling deck that I will inevitably build. Not me personally, but the people who are building these cycling decks.
What about Decoy Gambit? For each opponent, choose up to 1 target creature that player controls, then return that creature to its owner's hand unless the controller has you draw a card. That lets them choose their card or my card. But like both of those are good for us. Is it still a choice card regardless?
I think so. I mean, part of these cards is you always get the thing that's the least advantageous to you. And unless you have an answer for them picking the air quotes wrong thing on your spell, you might be not really doing anything to them. Like I'm going to win next turn because I have my Omnath and you play Decoy Gambit to bounce my Omnath. I'll let you have the card and I'm just going to kill you next turn. Right? Like, that's how I see a lot of cards like this. It's still, again, playable. It's cool. It's good. But I think that you could probably do better than this.
Yeah. Just like with Snap.
Yeah.
Just bounce your thing and I'll untap my lands. So it's like free bounce.
Just bounce the fucking thing. Don't give them the choice. Don't be like,
or play a card draw spell.
Yeah, or play something that'll draw you a card. Like, don't be cute like this because you're not going to get what you want, probably.
Yeah, that's fine. What about Ethereal Forager? This is a whale, an elemental whale. It's 3/3 for blue 4, but it has Delve, so you can exile cards from your graveyard, and exiling cards pays for one of the generic manas. It's got flying, and when it attacks, you can return an instant or sorcery card exiled with Ethereal Forager to its owner's hand. And I wish that this was like a 5/5 or whatever that costs blue 15. Like, that would be so much cooler because you would have to delve so many more cards. I don't know, they'd probably test something like that to find out that it's broken as all sin, but Delve is already broken as all sin.
Yeah, I'm surprised they reprinted Delve, and then not only did they reprint Delve, they reprinted Delve with another way to put your goddamn cards back into your hand in blue.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a card, and I don't know. It's a little much for me.
Yeah, it's fine. You know what I think for newer players, I just want to mention, when you delve this, don't put the cards you delve with this into your exile pile. Put them like underneath your Ethereal Forger, right?
Yeah. So
you know which ones you have access to. Just a kind of a physical manipulation type thing. I think it's worth mentioning.
I think, yeah, that's important stuff. It's important to keep your stuff kind of set up. I mean, maybe you're going to use it as a blocker for a few turns. You're going to forget what cards it put away, and now you're fighting over what's going on.
Ultimately, they're exiled, so if your Ethereal Forger dies, then you're just going to move those cards from under it into your exile pile anyways, but I thought it was worth mentioning.
Agreed.
Speaking of worth mentioning, read us our next card.
Fierce Guardianship, Ryan, is an instant for 0. Counter target non-creature spell.
Yeah, 0 mana counterspell.
Jesus. If you control your commander, if you don't, it costs blue 2, but let's be honest here.
So this is counter target non-creature spell. What is that card called again? Essence Scatter? No, that's creature spell.
That's creature spell.
Negate.
Negate.
This is negate for 3. This is cancel gate, but also free gate.
Yeah, the free is what makes this card very good.
Yeah, I almost want to put this in Animar. Like, if I'm on the play and I have a turn 1 or 2 Animar and a Fierce Guardianship and somebody tries to turn 1 flash me, I can get it. You know, I can not die and then I can win on my turn.
Yeah, like, and it's easier to play in a lot of decks than even a force or another force. right? Because
Yeah,
it's just free. There's no fucking around. You're not losing cards out of your hand. Just none of that bullshit. It's just nah.
Yeah. In 2 and 3 mana commander decks, like when your commander costs 2 or 3 mana, this is a mighty card.
Agreed. It's the truth, as we say.
Oh yeah, all truth, nothing but the truth. So help me, fierce guardianship. I don't know. Any other blue cards? Tidal Barracuda, is that a card? You can cast spells as though they had flash. No, any player can do that.
Yeah, no.
Whoa.
Fuck that.
Oh.
No, we don't need that shit in our lives, Ryan.
But our opponents can't cast spells during our turn, so it's like Teferi Barracuda.
Teferi Kuda?
Teferi Kuda. Souvenir Snatcher? Souvenir Snatch? Do not Google that.
No.
It's a mutate card.
It's a mutated snatch. That's just...
Gross.
Yeah.
Psychic Impetus? Don't Google that, probably.
You control a thing. Oh no, that's the gold one. That's
the gold one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that blue kind of got the least exciting stuff. It has some neat stuff like Eon Chronicle or Eon Frolicker and Nascent Metamorph are fun cards, but I don't think they're really worth spending a lot of time talking about.
Sure, let's move on to black.
Let's move on to the black stuff.
Okay. Deadly Rollick.
That is...
Am I reading that right?
You are. That is the Fierce Guardianship in black. It features the funny art of the set, how me and Ryan had that thing a while ago where every set has a funny picture. This is it. It's got like this little funny smiling monster guy, and he's stepping on this guy's cape while he's trying to run away.
I didn't notice he's stepping on his cape.
It's very funny. It's an instant for black 3 or free if you control your commander, and it exiles target creature. And that's with a period at the end. Do not gain life. Do not search for a basic land. Put it onto play tapped.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Put your creature in the exile pile.
Yes. It's a good card.
That is kind of cool. I think that's the second set in a row or something that we saw like black exile target creature. Full stop, right?
Yeah. And this one is like not even overcosted. It's just straight up get rid of your shitty guy for free. Get out.
Instant speed.
Get out of here, Slaughter Pact.
Yeah, that is cool, eh?
Yeah, man.
Still play Slaughter Pact, probably.
Yeah, you can still play both, but this is probably better to have in your hand.
Yeah, yep. Dredge the Mire. You like this one? Each opponent chooses a creature card in their graveyard. Put those creatures onto the battlefield under our control.
For 4.
For 4.
For 4.
They have to choose, so they're going to give us the crappiest one. But if we can kind of manipulate what goes in there, or if they only have good things, or we only care about that one thing in that one player's graveyard, we cast it, we just get junk back from everybody else, but we get that one good thing from them. 4 is still a good rate to get something good, and then a bunch of other just junkers, right?
And I mean, look at it. There's even like a less optimal situation. Like if you've just been playing for a while, you've hit a couple of Wraths, and you just get 3 mediocre things, you're still getting 3 things for 4 mana. Just that is pretty good.
Oh, you know what? Each opponent chooses a creature in their graveyard, so we don't get one out of our graveyard. I was going to say there's Zombify for like 1 more mana, and we get 1 thing. This is they choose from their graveyards, and we get the thing.
Yeah, we just get 3 things. I mean, it's...
Yeah, we get 3 things for 4 mana, though?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a situation where that's going to be awful. And if it's going to be awful, you're not going to play it.
Yeah.
Right, like, you're just not going to play it. You're going to exile their graveyard, then the next turn after you've wrathed the board, you're going to play it and get the good shit. So I think that's a good card, and it has a rad picture on it.
Yes, some hippo thing coming out of the mire. So Netherborn Altar, that just goes in your Phage decks. Cool. We've got Species Specialist.
Now, when I saw this the first time, and even kind of the second, third, fourth, and fifth time, I keep thinking it says Special Speciesist. And when you look at it and read it like that, it kind of makes the card feel icky.
Sure.
Because he's speciesist, and that's not nice. It's a 2/3 human warrior for black 2. When it comes into play, you choose a creature type, and then when a creature of the chosen type eats shit, you draw a card.
Yeah, and that is usually going to pick a creature that we care about, like a creature that we've built around, and we are just going to draw all the cards, right?
Yeah, like zombies or vampires or whatever. You're going to draw some shit with this guy. He's cool.
Oh, yeah, like if I have no demonic tutor, but I've got my species specialist and my Gravecrawler Phyrexian Altar combo set up, I need a way to win the game. I can just sack my Gravecrawler infinitely to draw my whole deck.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
That's it. So that kind of acts as a tutor if you can cast infinite creatures and have them die, which, come on, there's like umpteen ways to do that, right?
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, you could just like species specialist and name whatever, soldier, sapperling, beast, whatever your opponent's got tokens of, and then go Wrath of God or Damnation. I'll draw 8.
Yeah.
That's cool. 8 mana, draw 8, kill all your shit.
Can't complain. That's like Plague Wind for way less.
And way better.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now, people have been saying that, oh, I don't like the Godzilla cards because it brings modern life into Magic. And Magic's always saying, oh, we don't want guns and tanks and all that stuff, even though they've done guns and tanks already. And then in Titan Hunter, if you look at that, instead of having a giant sword for monster hunting, she's got a fucking chainsaw.
Yeah.
Like, what gives there?
I want a Halloween themed crossover for our fall big set next year, right? Where it's all like Freddy's and Jason's and Michael Myer's and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and
the Scream
there's gonna
guy,
be some Texas Chainsaw Leatherface. You can get an equipment that is Leatherface. Oh man, what would that equipment do?
Probably give creatures fear.
Yes.
Or
they just revived an old mechanic that they don't even use anymore just for one card.
Yeah. Because why not?
Anyways, Titan Hunter is a 4/5 for 5. At the beginning of each player's end step, if no creature died this turn, Titan Hunter deals 4 damage to that player. Also, we could go black, 1, sack a creature, gain 4 life. So we would gain the life, we would sack a creature so we didn't take 4. If they have no creatures to sack, a la our black-based control deck that plays like Grave Pact and Dictate, we can just sack our creature, make them sack 1 or 2 of theirs. They take 4, we gain 4. It's a good card.
It's a cool card. I like that one.
Yeah. Moving on to red. I'm going to let you take the helm of the red cards because there's probably some ones that you like.
There are. I like Deflecting SWAT. It is the...
Deflecting what?
Deflecting SWAT.
Almost something dirty.
Yep. I wasn't going to say it, but here we are. So Deflecting SWAT is red 2 or free if you control your commander. You can choose new targets for target spell or ability. I dig that. Those spells are always cool, always fun. Agitatorant is fun. It's a 2/2 for 3. At the beginning of your end step, each player could put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature, and then if they do, those creatures are goated.
I like the art on that one. I think it's kind of cute. I like it.
I like that lots too. Good. I like Lava Brink Floodgates a ton.
This is such an interesting card. I saw this and I was like, it gives you 2 red back. It costs 2? Like, what is this card? Like, how does this work?
It is so cool. And I built that deck that revolved around Floodgate back in the day. My my counterless Simic deck.
Oh, that's right. Here, read us Lava Brink Floodgates.
And now we've got a new Floodgates for me to play with. It is an artifact for red 3, has tap, add red, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player can put a Doom counter on it or remove a Doom counter from it. Then if it has 3 or more Doom counters on it, you sack it, and it does 6 damage to each creature.
So just for quick reference, Doom counters appear on... who cares about the silver bordered trash? Armageddon Clock from Antiquities, Eye of Doom from Commander 13,
Ooh.
And Imminent Doom from Hour of Devastation. And there are cards that let us move counters, just counters. Right? So if you're interested in moving a Doom counter from one thing to another that cares about Doom counters, that seems like a very CCO style deck. At CCOPodcast, at CCO Brando, or Commander Cookout at gmail.com. If you're interested in sending a deck in like that.
You know, that Imminent Doom with Lava Brink Floodgates might actually make Imminent Doom playable if you could find a way of moving the counters around. I like that.
Imminent Doom enters the battlefield as an enchantment with a Doom counter. Whenever you cast a spell with converted mana cost equal to the number of Doom counters on it, Imminent Doom deals that much damage to target creature or player. Okay. Then you put another one on it.
You could make that usable as opposed to just like curving out and then it just stops at 8. You could maybe use it if you're moving the Doom counters around.
Yeah, if you can continue to take your Lava Brink Floodgate Doom counters off, like, I don't know, you could use it as a mana rock. It's just weird. Somebody get at us, right?
Yeah, I'm pumped to play that. I'm gonna try that card out in some decks. It's gonna be fun. And then the other one that I'm a big fan of in red is Shiny Impetus. That's the enchant your opponent's shit, make them goated, both because the picture on it is absolutely hilarious, and it has whenever enchanted creatures attack, or enchanted creature attacks, you get a treasure token. So it's got that red ramp that I like.
Yeah, I do like that one. I like Fireflux Squad, that when it's a creature, when it attacks, you reveal cards from the top of your library down to another creature. You put it onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. So that is just like another red or blue style polymorph where you put like one creature in your deck that you just want to find and kill somebody with when you have an opening. And it's got haste, so you can drop it for 4, attack with it immediately, and put that thing onto the battlefield, right?
He might be playable in Nora, and I might try him out, but
what do you get?
I'm not sure. Atali.
Yes. Do you get the attack trigger?
No.
You don't, right?
I just get an Atali I didn't have to pay 6 for.
It would find a Perforos, too, because Perforos off the battlefield it is a creature, right?
Yeah, like it gets all of the creatures in Norin for the most part are really good, so I could see getting any of them for free being really good, but like the 1 or 2 creatures that aren't incredibly powerful are just so bad to find with this.
What about Molten Echoes? Red 2 for an enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a non-token creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. That token gains haste and you exile at the end of turn. Is there any place that you'd play this? Do you choose Goblin? Do you choose Elemental? Where do you put that?
All of my Goblin and Elemental decks revolve around making tokens of them or legendary versions of them. So for me, Molten Echoes was a great idea and a really cool card. Doesn't appeal to me specifically, but I could see it being even good in like a red X deck, like a dinosaur deck or something. You know what I mean? Like those big stompy things where you want haste. Here you get blockers and haste with your Molten Echoes.
Yeah.
I'll make a Godsire, and then make another Godsire, and then make a Godsire token with my Godsire. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Godsire, get a Godsire, swing for 8, make an 8/8, get fucked on. That's a turn.
That would work. That would work. Hey, piece of CCO trivia. First game I ever played against Brando, he beat me with a Godsire.
Ba-boom.
Yeah, that sounded like a giveaway hint. That sounded like a hint that it could have been a hint, but now it can't be.
Well, maybe not for this arc, but in the future, maybe.
That's it. Should we move on to green or any more red new cards that you want to talk about? There was a Phoenix and there was a Badger.
Yeah, well, it's a Badger dinosaur. We got to say there's a Badger dinosaur. Let's move on.
It's pretty much like a Waste Not or the Waste Not zombie guy that we got, right? When you discard different card types, you get different effects, right? So that goes into things where you discard cards, like maybe your Angie Falconwrath if you're not playing like the World Gorger Dragon version.
Sure. Yeah, it's fun.
What about in green? What did you see that you liked?
I have a question about one.
Sure.
It's Glade Muse.
Why are you talking about this card?
Why is it a card? Why would you ever do that?
I don't know why anybody would want to do this. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, that player draws a card.
Why would you ever do that?
Well, let's break it down. Green can already draw cards. Not necessarily at the 3 mana slot, but we can get to the 4, 5, and 6 mana slots faster than other players. Sure. Other cards that do draw cards or cast spells on not their turn, like blue, can already draw cards and are already better than green. Why would you play this card?
Well, and if you're playing colors that can't draw cards, like white or white and red, you're giving them the ability to draw cards. I'll play Glade Muse. Thanks, asshole. I'll path it. Draw a card. Like, what? Why does this exist?
Yeah. Is this a group hug card?
This is too much group hug. This is like you give somebody a big hug and all of the money out of your wallet, and then you go grocery shopping, but you don't have any money left.
Yeah, I don't know. What about, let's move on. This is just, I don't know. This is going to be the card that comes out of decks and goes into group hug decks. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why it exists, but yeah, let's continue going on here. I like Obscuring Haze. It's, again, that free card. It turns out free cards are usually pretty good. It's basically a fog, except it doesn't prevent damage from your stuff.
So we control our commander. It's free. We can block their Alpha Strike and prevent all of the damage from their creatures and kill a bunch that we might have maybe looked like we were unprofitably blocking.
Yeah, like you can do that unprofitable block shit and wreck them. It's awesome. And, I mean, in a pinch, you could also save somebody if somebody tries to blow you out when you're alpha striking.
Yes. Yeah.
If somebody plays the white one on you and makes all their stuff indestructible so you can't kill them, now you can save your stuff and reset and you can try it again.
That's right. That's right. Or save somebody else when they're going to die, even.
Yeah, there's all sorts of...
I don't know why you do that, but some situations would warrant, like, if you're down to 3 players and, you know, it's like that standoff where one person dies, then it creates an opening for the other player and you want to keep that somebody alive while you can Obscuring Haze them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about Capricopian? It's a 0/0 goat Hydra for green X. Enters battlefield at X+1s because it's a Hydra. It's got multiple goat heads, like I get it. You can pay 2 to put a +1 counter on it. Then you may reselect which player Capricopian is attacking. Only the player Capricopian is attacking may activate this ability, and only during declare attacker's step. So we've never seen an ability like that. Let's pretend I'm attacking you, and you've got whatever, 4 mana open. You can activate and then respond and activate again, and then just like choose Smitty, and I attack Smitty instead of you.
It would 100% attack Jesse, and we both know that. We both know that, Ryan.
Yes. Oh, yeah, okay.
Every time.
So, cool card. I think that that card in particular feels very commandery.
I like to comment on art when I see stuff like this, but like that animal is just, they have the worst life because they'd always be stabbing themselves in the back with their horns would be getting tied up in knots and shit. Like, I feel bad for Capricopians.
Yeah, their horns would be growing through other ones' heads. Like, you know how boar tusks grow into their head and kill them?
Yeah. This is nasty.
Yeah, man. What about Curious Horde? Choose target opponent. You create X 3/3 green beast tokens, where X is the number of artifacts that player controls. Is that okay? Like, that's good, right? Like, if they've got 3 artifacts, we get 9 power for 4 mana.
Artifacts are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. So this is just a solid card. I don't think it's game breaking. I don't think it'll blow any. I mean, you'll blow people out with it, but I think it's fine.
That's it. Last card before we get on to colorless. What about Slippery Bog Bonder?
Oh, I love that art.
Yeah.
That little guy, he's Slimer. He looks like Slimer from the Ghostbusters. And then there's some lady who looks like Catwoman from Batman. And they're just chilling in the forest. And there's a little spear. I don't even care what they do. I'm just happy that we have this card.
Well, it turns out that it's good. It's a 3/3 flash hexproof human druid for green 3.
Oh, shit.
When it enters the battlefield, put a hexproof counter on target creature. Then move any number of counters from among creatures you control to that creature. So flash it in to counter a removal spell on my commander, and then put all the +1 counters on my commander and kill you.
Zoinks. It's a very cool combat trick, and I like that it has that little Slimer guy on it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my favorite part of it.
That's a cool one. So getting into colorless, we have got a couple cards and a land, and I think they're all pretty cool. We've got Bonder's Ornament. This is the 3 mana tap to add a mana of any color for this year's Commander product. It's akin to
Manolith.
And Manolith, yeah, shout out to Dana Roach, and Commander Sphere. This one, though, instead of sacking to draw a card like Commander Sphere, you can go 4, tap. Each player who controls a permanent named Bonder's Ornament draws a card.
That's neat.
It's neat. I think Commander Sphere is better because we can just sacrifice it whenever we want. But if we want to repeatedly pay 4 to draw a card, this one can do it for us.
It's repeatable. It's fine. I think it's cool. I think it's neat that it comes with each player that has one draws a card, because it like adds another level to the gameplay. But
it's a common artifact too. So if you play precons all heads up, there could be 4 of these on the battlefield because it comes in each precon.
What if you... I guess it doesn't matter if you have a bunch of them, because you only draw one. Or would they trigger for... How would that work?
It checks if you control one or if you don't. So the answer is yes or no.
Yeah, so you draw a card and only one card. So there's no benefit to having a billion of them.
That's right, unless you have a billion times 4 mana and you can tap them all to draw your whole deck.
There's probably easier ways of doing that.
Yes, yeah, very much so. Well, I like it, though. I like it. What about Manascape Refractor? This card's expensive. This is one of the expensive ones in the release. Give it a read.
I think it's super cool. It's an artifact for 3. It enters the battlefield tapped. It has all activated abilities of all lands in play, and you may spend mana as though it were any color to activate those abilities.
All lands on the battlefield, so not just ours.
Correct.
Does this tap to give us mana of any color? Is tapping your land, that's an activated ability, isn't it?
Does it sacrifice to give us a Merit Lage token?
I believe that because Merit Lage or Dark Depths is it's an activated ability, right?
I'm not... Yeah, you have to take a ice counter off of it or something. I forget exactly how that works.
It doesn't actually work with Dark Depths because Dark Depths is a triggered ability. When there's no counters on it, you can sacrifice it. If you do, then create, right? Your mana, whatever, refractor, what is it called?
Manascape Refractor
has 3 remove an ice counter from Dark Depths. That's the ability that it has when paired with Dark Depths.
Oh, that's not very good at all.
But it is a strip mine. It is a Diamond Valley. It's a high market to gain a life. It's a scavenger grounds. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, it's lots of cool stuff. I dig that. It's a Gaia's Cradle. It's everything.
Is there lands that let you untap lands? So you could tap and untap it? Probably. There's untap target land. That's a land that I played in a black deck one time with Cabal Coffers. Untap target land for 1 mana. If you tap your Cabal Coffers for 15, then you can use one of it to untap.
Yeah, I play that in untap. That's in Hirobi. I have that too.
Yeah.
Of course, can't think of the name of it right now because we're terrible. But
yeah,
but those exist.
They do exist, and this is the artifact land equivalent of Necrotic Ooze, right? So if you have tap and untap abilities on the same card that you can make the mana to activate them, you can tap and untap infinitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, of course it goes infinite because it's a land thing. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Last one I want to talk about because Sanctuary Blade, sure, whatever. This is Twinning Staff. This is a 3-mana artifact. If you would copy a spell 1 or more times, instead copy it that many times plus an additional time.
Ooh.
And of course you choose new copies. Also, 7, tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new copies. So really it's 7, copy it twice. Because it would work on itself, right?
Yes. How do you think a card would be bad if it did this same thing, but you didn't get to choose new targets? Would that make the card bad or just different?
Just different. It would make it not as good, right? Like if you've got 2 3/3s and I cast Lightning Bolt and then I copy, I have to target your 3/3 and your 3/3 again.
But does that make the ability let's say this is the same card, right? But it doesn't say you get to choose new targets for the copy. Does that make the card cost less mana wise, do you think? Would that ability cost 4 to activate instead of 7?
I think so. They would never template it like that because everything that copies says you can choose new targets for the copy. They wouldn't make one thing that doesn't work like that. And it would make it far less powerful.
Oh, definitely. But I'm just thinking I wonder if you could do that. And of course people would just abuse that to take infinite turns, but I'm just.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
It's just the space I get. Like, I wonder if you narrowed it. I wonder how that would actually work. I know they'd never print something like that, but it'd be cool if they did.
Yeah, that's it. It's in the Teamer deck, of course, with that Lightning Stegosaurus we talked about yesterday, and of course it would stay in that deck forever.
Yes.
Yeah, because that guy cares about copying, and this is what does it for you. This is Copy Harmonicon, right? Copy Monicon.
Cop Monicon, yeah.
Yep, that's it. Last new card of C20. We covered the legendaries yesterday. We covered the new cards that were noteworthy today. We've got Nesting Grounds, a land that taps for colorless. Cool. 1, tap it, move a counter from target permanent you control to another permanent. Activate this ability only as a sorcery. So this moves loyalty counters, this moves flying counters for that Mothra card. This moves your Doom counters.
Ooh.
This is the land version of Power Conduit from Mirrodin, which allowed you to move counters from something and then put charge or +1 counters on something else. This is a cool land. This will let you ultimate your Planeswalker a turn early. This will do all kinds of cool things.
I'm a fan of it. I think it's cool. There's lots of, like you said, I mean, you basically covered everything that it's going to do. I think that it's going to find its way into lots of decks. I'll put one in Atraxa. I'll put one over here. Like,
It's gonna move counters off of your persist and undying things.
Yep. If you have an additional vigilance counter on something that already has a vigilance counter, you can give vigilance to something else.
Yes. Oh, you know what I actually like about this is if you remove a -1/-1 counter from persist and put it on an opponent's creature, you can maybe kill that creature if it's an X1 or if you can do that multiple times.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can wreck all their dorks and stuff. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You could 3-way combo this or 4-way combo this with that untap a land, Cabal Coffers, and Manascape Refractor and kill all your opponent's creatures.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there it is.
Did it.
Just make infinite mana, then infinite untap Nesting Grounds and kill all of your things. Oh, you need a sack outlet, so that's card 5, and then a card with persist. That's card 6.
Worth it.
Yeah, 100% worth it. 6-card combos. Welcome to CCONation.
Yeah. Every single mono white deck ever built will have that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Minus the Cabal Coffers.
Yeah.
Oh, instead you would need probably 5 more enchantments and a Sarah's Sanctum.
There you go.
So all of a sudden it's a 11-card combo that costs close to $200.
Welcome to the nation.
Welcome to fucking City Hall, baby. City Hall of CCO.
Are we City Hall Cookout Podcast?
Oh. I think I just blew the mic up. Sorry.
I did too. It's fine.
Oh man, so that's the C20 new stuff. What about any notable reprints? The white deck has like crazy amounts of wraths. There's Cleansing Nova, and there's Descent Upon the Sinful, and Banisher Priest, and there's all kinds of cards. Knight of the White Orchid, notable there. Revlark, Sun Titan, these are good cards that we can, of course, play. In blue, we've got, I don't know, Jace, Architect of Thought. We've got I'm stretching here. Swarm Intelligence. I know it's a 7-drop, but it's good. Propaganda.
Lunarch Mystic is good. Propaganda is a surprising amount of money. I'm glad they reprinted that, actually. That and Ghostly Prison are getting up there, so good on them for that one. Windfall is always welcome, I think. It might feel bad getting it cast on you, but at the end of the day, that's a card that I think people like, and you want to have that.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Value Windfall. If you've got Windfall in your opening hand with, like, a mana rock or a mana dork or 2 and like maybe 1 4-drop, and it's like, okay, land, I've got all this extra mana for my mana dorks, I'm gonna Windfall, draw whatever 5 or 6, and then use my mana dorks to cast something else. Like, value Windfalls are good.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with playing that. It's a solid card. I think people overlook it sometimes, to be honest.
Yep. We've got Chandra Flamecaller, we've got Chaos Warp. These are some maybe Chandra Flamecaller isn't an expected card, but Chaos Warp, Charmbreaker, Devil Comet Storm, Dual Caster Mage, these are welcome and expected types of cards in like Commander Precons.
Yeah, Magus of the Wheel is big time. Shared Animosity.
Yeah, I was just going to buy one for Persistent Petitioner so I could kill you with combat damage instead of mill. Now I don't got to pick up a single for like $15.
Yeah. I think important to note too, I think that Chandra Flamecaller is an overlooked card in our format.
Really?
I do.
This is 6 mana Chandra you're talking about.
Yep. Her 0 ability is really good. It's really, really... Discard all cards in your hand, then draw that many cards +1. If you have no cards in your hand, you draw 1. If you have a bunch of shitty mountains, which is probably what you're going to end up with when you're dropping 6 drops, fuck them all. Get new shit. Like, it's a surprisingly versatile and good card. I played a Norin.
Yeah, I can see that being good, particularly when you have to dig, right?
Yeah, like, it digs you to what you want. It gives you bodies if you need those to attack, and it, like... is a Wrath too, so she's a good card.
Oh yeah, it is a Wrath. 6 mana, just minus X her like down to 0, and it deals 4 damage to each creature. Yeah, okay, I can buy that. I can buy that being a good card. I've never played it.
I think that enough people just kind of overlooked her. I forget what even set she was from, but I think we were on our way back from Calgary, and I was talking to FU Evan on the trip home, and she's like, "Why don't you ever play Chandra Flamecaller?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know." And now I do.
Originally from Oath of the Gatewatch.
I think she has a cool like zombie version of herself too.
She does. She was a 2016 San Diego Comic-Con zombie. That was the one where they all made a panorama and Liliana was in the middle who wasn't a zombie.
What else we got going on here?
I'm gone to green now. I'm seeing Beast Whisperer and Beast Within. Those are both not several dollar cards, but a couple dollar cards that are notable reprints that are good. Crop Rotation, Cultivate. These all have a $2 or $3 price tag. That is almost strictly because of Commander. I know Crop Rotation's a legacy card, but these are all welcome in my book in the pre-con, right?
And the Crop Rotation has the cool art. I mean, it's not every day that I say the modern card art has like vastly superior, but I think that this picture is just awesome.
Okay, well, vastly superior art. What about this new art on Harmonize?
Nah.
You're still not a Harmonize guy?
Nope, still don't like it.
Well, I like that there was a reprint of Hornet Queen, Kodama's Reach, again, couple bucks, Croson Grip, couple bucks. Now, I know we're not getting any of those $10, $15, $20, $30 cards that we would like to see. They're probably saving those for their, like, Commander Green or whatever. That's where those are going to be. Maybe.
Yeah.
But Wilderness Wreck, there's another one. We're getting... Artifact Mutation, another one, couple dollar card. We're getting some good stuff.
There's some decent things in here. For every Ajani Unyielding, there's an Artifact Mutation and a Crackling Doom, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the dual deck Ajani, isn't it?
I think so.
So it's 6 mana Ajani. It's probably a dual deck. Does it have like a minus 9 Ajani? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, gee, thanks.
We're getting a reprint of Nahiri the Harbinger, right? That was important because we only ever had her in Shadows over Innistrad, right?
Yes.
She was a Mythic edition, but like I don't know if that counts because you couldn't get that, right?
Yeah, I don't count anything that was in those specialty products as being a reprint. Nahiri's cool. She lets you dig for cards in Boros, and then she does a bunch of Boros stuff, but it's fine. I think Nisa Stewards of Elements is getting a reprint too, and she's also very cool.
Yeah, she's minus X, right? That's that one?
Yeah, she's a blue-green X. She comes in with X, and then you can scry, and you can put creatures into play for free and stuff. She's cool.
Yeah. You know what I'm really digging in these products? I'm looking at the artifacts, and I'm seeing stuff that is actually good. I'm not seeing clue stones. I'm not seeing banners. I'm not seeing the ones that you hate. Are those clue stones? No.
Lockets.
I'm seeing Arcane Signet, Regular Signet, Commander Sphere. I'm seeing Life Crashers, Bestiary, Mimic Vat, Lightning Greaves, Silent Arbiter, Skull Clamp, Solemn Simulacrum, Sol Ring, of course. These are cards that we know are good in Commander. They're not we put them in for new players so they have something to upgrade. No, these are good cards. They're reprints of cards that are between $2 and $9, if you compare like a Signet to, or like a traditional Signet to Arcane Signet, every card that I listed, except for Commander Sphere, falls somewhere in that range between $2 and $6. And that's where we're getting the value in these decks, is they've got a lot of cards in that price range.
And those go in lots of decks too. Like if you took every other card out except for your Signets, your Arbiter, your Sol Ring, your Lightning Greaves, all that stuff, that skeleton that you have left can go into virtually any deck that you're going to build. Yeah,
you could take out, like if you took the utility like instants and sorceries and artifacts in this deck, you could kind of make any deck out of them. And while that does make them feel or sound a little bit generic, it also lets us know that they've built decks with cards that are good, that we know are good, that people are playing.
And not everybody is like us where they've bought them every year. I mean, if you're just getting into Commander, these are going to be good because you're going to get a bunch of staples, whether they're amazing or not, but you're going to get them, and that's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, devil's advocate to that is like, okay, they went onto fucking EDHrec.com and just hit generate deck in Teamer, and this is what they got, and they cut out some of the expensive cards and put in new commanders. Like, that's the flip side, but I mean, this is CCONation we're talking about. We build weird and jank and unique, funny decks, right? Yeah. So some of these right out of the box aren't going to be for us.
And you know where you're not going to find a lot of super awesome creative includes that are just staples that we all want? In the fucking land section.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, you know what? They are giving us the comes into play tapped like dual lands. They're giving us Bajuka Bog, Pain lands, the Signet lands from Odyssey. I don't know if all of those have ever gotten reprints. My main criticism with the mana base is they gave us the Frontier Bivouacs of the world, the Mystic Sanctuary, Nomad Outpost, Opulent Palace, instead of giving us the new fetchable tri-lands fucking from Ikoria. From Ikoria, the same world that these precons are supposed to exist
in.
Yeah,
they gave us ones that are from a different plane. Like, get out of here, man. Like, this would have been an opportunity to keep the cost of the land base of decks going forward low, and they didn't do it. And I'm not happy about that. Also, another thing I'm not happy about, they reprinted fucking Croson Verge. I hate that card. And everybody else should hate that card. Comes in,
I thought you liked that.
No,
card.
It comes to play tapped, and then it brings in things tapped. It sucks.
So does Myriad Landscape, and you like
Myriad
that card.
Landscape doesn't cost me anything. Yes, it does. Shut up.
It's exactly the same, except it's more restrictive.
Myriad Landscape is better.
It does find you anything that you want. You are right.
Myriad Landscape is better. It has a better picture, and it's a better card. Croson Verge is terrible, and I hate it.
That sounds like sound Brando logic.
Yes. Consistency Cookout Podcast. That's where we are right now.
Oh, man. I love ending on a joke. You know what? We hit up we Eiffel Towered C20, 2 episodes in a row. Give us some final thoughts of the day. Round up your feelings on the product. Thank our glorious sponsors, even in these difficult times. Hit him with the truth, Brando.
The truth is, I think that these products, in spite of our complaints about the land base and some of the reprints, are going to be great. I think they're going to be a lot of fun, and I think that people are going to find stuff that they want to play in them, as me and Ryan have. I'm sure that you have as well. And you can pick them up from FaceToFaceGames.com. They're Canada's biggest Magic store once this crisis is over, or at your local game store, hopefully right when they come out in a few weeks here. That's it for us for this set review. If you have anything that you think that we should have addressed, if you disagree with us or agree with us, or you think we missed something, be sure to send us comments, DMs, anywhere, social media that we are found. CCOPodcast, CCO Brando, Commander Cookout at gmail.com. Find total listing at commandercookout.com. Other than that, that's it for us. So thank you so much for having us. For me, for Ryan, hope you had a great Easter long weekend. Hopefully everything is going your way, and we're going to be able to see you again real soon on another episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!